Okay, welcome everybody to our second family forum on this Tuesday evening. I am so excited to welcome everybody back in 2021. We had a really wonderful discussion this morning and we have an exciting agenda for you this late afternoon, early evening. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you drop your name in the chat or send it to me privately. That is the way that we record our attendance in these meetings. And we're going to kick it off. So our agenda for today, I'm going to start with some brief announcements, mostly focused on upcoming programming for MLK Day in less than a week. And then the real juicy part of this evening is a presentation from our school advisory committee, our SAC. And so we have some parent members as well as some wonderful students here to share some information with you today. And then as always, we will conclude with question, answer, and open-ended discussion for anything that's on anybody's minds. So to kick it off with some announcements. The first thing that I wanted to make sure families who this affects is aware of is that the school selection portal results are going to be released this upcoming Friday, January 15th at 5:00 p.m. It is all electronic, and these results are really important for our 8th graders. They're going to find out which high schools, which public high schools they've been accepted to. And this also applies to any other students in lower grades who have applied to other schools in the school district of Philadelphia, whether it's another elementary school or a magnet middle school. So it is all electronically released, and there's actually some information from our SAC later on this evening talking about the parent portal that can show you where you can actually access those results. This is just a graphic coming from the school district's website. The place where I get all my information is very easy to find. If you go to philasd.org and using the magnifying glass, you just type in Office of Student Enrollment, you'll find our whole page on school selection. So similarly, but on the other end of the spectrum, kindergarten registration for the 2021-22 school year is beginning on Tuesday, January 19th, right after we have the day off for MLK Day. It's a little bit earlier this year and it snuck up on us. This information was only released last week. So the online registration process for any family who is applying for kindergarten in the upcoming school year begins, oh, there's a typo, that came from the school district's website, but it's starting at 8 a.m. on this upcoming Tuesday. So this entire process is online. And if you joined the Henry community through this year, it is exactly the same online registration process. So there are a number of documents that are required electronically in order to be able to submit your application. If you're not able to complete it in its entirety, there's a way that you can save your in-process application with an application number. And if you need any help figuring out which documentation is correct or will be approved, you can absolutely reach out to Ms. Liu, our school secretary. But the electronic documents that are accepted can either be scanned if you have access to a scanner, and if not, they also accept documents that are taken through a picture through a cell phone and uploaded. But again, any questions that you have, Ms. Liu is absolutely the expert on school selection. Okay, and so a little bit more information about some programming happening across the city for MLK Day. So in partnership with the PTA, Nikki Paulino Trisdorfer, our dance/music teacher, is hosting an MLK Day dance-off on Monday from 11 a.m. to 12. So this is a time where family members, students can log on with Ms. Paulino, and we're asking for a $10 donation that is going through Cash App from Natasha Broadwater. And Natasha, if you're logged on for this meeting, feel free to jump in. But Natasha did make the request earlier today that if you are planning to participate and donate, please make sure you send your name and email address to her in the message of your Cash App donation, just so she knows who to expect to log on to Zoom. All of the proceeds from this 1-hour dance-off are being donated to the Colored Girls Museum of Philadelphia, which is really exciting. And we got some preliminary information today from the school district's Office of Communications that we might be highlighted by Dr. Height for having this really cool activity. So I encourage everyone to be involved. It's definitely going towards a good cause. And because we're not able to host in-person events, I'm just really excited by this partnership. Similarly, but a little bit different, there are some offerings from the Woodmere Art Museum. I actually received an electronic flyer today that I'm going to make sure to distribute before the week is over, or just around some programming that they're having via Zoom at the Woodmere Art Museum. So feel free, there is some free registration required, but I noticed that there's also some locations in Chestnut Hill where you can go and pick up some activity booklets and various information in preparation for MLK Day. And last but not least, I just wanted to highlight 4 opportunities shared by the School District of Philadelphia with all employees last week. They are different opportunities occurring across the city, ways that families can log on or have their child participate in a virtual read aloud or a guided discussion. All around, civil rights and Dr. Martin Luther King. So I'm going to share all this information in a virtual letter sent out to families, but you've received a sneak peek here. And then the final announcements before I hand it over to the SAC relates to 2 upcoming virtual extracurricular opportunities for our students in our winter term. So first off, we're really excited that Ms. Paulino, as well as Mr. Peoples, our newest first grade teacher, are joining forces, and they've come up with a club they've creatively called the Boys to Men Club. So it's a dance/yoga club for our male students at Henry, with the idea of creating a safe space for developing their minds and their bodies and their sense of identity, etc. So Mr. Peoples has a background in yoga and mindfulness, and Ms. Paulino is an expert at dance, and they're really excited to collaborate together. Today was the first day that I really publicized this club. You did not miss an announcement from your child's teacher or on the Google Classroom. That is coming. As you can see, the club is not starting until February. So we still have a couple more weeks, but you can feel free to reach out to Ms. Paulino. She made this flyer if you have any questions about what that's going to look like. The only requirement is that we're asking that students who choose to participate are prepared to have their cameras on, just because it's really reliant upon building community and being able to see one another. Additionally, for any upper school 8th grade families who are on the call, or if you know of other families in 8th grade, we are assembling our virtual yearbook club, which is a club that we have year after year. The C.W. Henry 8th graders, with the guidance of Miss Ralph and Miss Smith, 2 of our 8th grade teachers, are entirely responsible for developing and curating our yearbook year after year. So last year, even though we closed out virtually, they created a really beautiful yearbook with lots of photographs, and the kids put it all together. So we're looking for 8th graders who want to be involved in yearbook, and there is a flyer coming soon. So now I'm going to hand it off to Betta Ferrugia, our SAC facilitator, and she has a wonderful presentation and agenda to share with you as well. Betta, I do have a slide on here about Lindback if you want me to preview that info, or do you want to just save it for your part of the presentation?
Oh, no, go ahead if that makes sense. Yeah, that's
sure. It's a repeat. Yeah. So if you came to the last Family Forum in December, I did talk about our process for Lindback nominations. You're going to hear from Betta and our SAC that this is a subcommittee of our school advisory committee. So we have a specialized process at Henry where we're really hoping to get as many nominations and recommendations from the Henry community as possible to nominate at least one teacher to be a candidate for the Lindback Distinguished Teaching Award. It's a really special award. 60 teachers in the School District of Philadelphia are honored year after year. Our very own Meredith Schechter, who's on the call right now, was last year's honoree, and Miss Paulino Trisdorfer was our honoree from 2 years ago. It is a really, really special award. We're hoping that we can keep up this pattern and 3 years in a row have a C.W. Henry teacher receive this recognition. And this first step of the process is really crucial. We ask for families' feedback on just we know that all of our teachers are phenomenal, but we really want to hear from you around experiences, specific experiences that you've had with a teacher that makes you think they're really worthy of being this year's nominee. So we'll talk about it a little bit more in the upcoming minutes. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Betta, so that you can share yours.
Great, thank you. Let me just share and Okay, good evening, everybody. As Kate said, my name is Veta Frugia, and I'm a parent here. I have 3 kids that attend Henry, and I'm also the SAC facilitator. And as you may know, usually twice a year, we hold community meetings. And because everything's virtual, we thought the Family Forum, this great communication system that Ms. Davis has set up for us, would be a great place to hold our SAC community meeting. So tonight we're just going to review a few things. We're going to go over some logistics of the SAC with you. What is it? Who's on it? When do we meet? And then we're going to dive into the projects the SAC is working on this year. And then we have some special guests to join us in our presentation. So we're excited about that. I'll just leave you hanging to know who the special guests are. And at the end, we'll round out with just letting you know how you can get involved with the SAC. So to start, the SAC is the School Advisory Council, and it's a combination of family members, the school principal, teachers and staff, and students, and if you have students in your school that are in grade 7 through 12, and community members. And we really work to champion the really important priorities of the school: strong student achievement, strong school culture, and high family engagement. And according to the district, we have to hold meetings at least every other month, but we do hold them monthly. Usually it's the first Monday of the month from 4:30 to 5:30. They are held virtually, so it's easy to have people join us, which we invite everyone to do. And then we really try to have data-driven and strategic conversations that focus on our 3 primary focus areas. Again, back to the student achievement, strong school culture, and high family engagement. So the members of the current SAC, you can see the list of family members, the school staff, and our community member who, Gary King is a parent also at Henry, but he plays both roles for us. And we are looking for more members of the SAC. So if you're interested in getting involved, I'll tell you how to do that at the end. And also if you have leads for us on other community members that could participate in the SAC, that would be fantastic. Please let us know. But if you have questions about the SAC, you always can reach out to any of the people that are current members. And then again, as I said, our meeting dates are generally the first Monday of the month from 4:30 to 5:30. And everyone is welcome to join us anytime. They're open meetings, and you can always join if you're just curious what we're talking about. So please feel free, even if you're not a member, you're not ready to make the commitment to meet every month, please feel free to join us anytime. So this year, the SAC has really focused on these 5 projects. So diversity, equity, inclusion, the Launchpad, Lindbeck Award nominations, Upper School Spotlight, and family engagement. And I am going to just sort of have different people from the SAC talk through some of the different projects. So we'll start with our first one.
Hi, everyone. I'm Allie Stumacher. I'm here just as the one representative from the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. We are currently working on putting together a survey and needs assessment to gather information from students in grades 3 through 8, from families from all grades, and from teachers about their experiences at Henry with regards to diversity, equity, inclusion, and racial equity. Once we have the results from these surveys, we will share the findings with the greater Henry community, and then we'll use the findings to inform the committee's actions around racial equity and DEI. So we're hopeful that the survey will be rolled out sometime within the next month.
Great, thank you, Allie. And Meredith, you're going to tell us about the Launchpad?
I sure will. Hi, everybody. For those of you who haven't been with us in the last 4 years of doing this, so our Launchpad is the conversion of our current computer lab to a multimedia center. So 4 or 5 years ago, almost, I think, we started to plan this as a SAC committee, and we fundraised. We received funds from when Ms. Rogers won the Lindback. We fundraised for many years, and this year under Ms. Davis's leadership, we have started construction and finished the construction. So it is painted. We have new flooring. It looks amazing. We have a lot of our furniture already ordered. And in that room, we're getting a circulation desk within the next month. We have a checkout system that we're hoping to roll out come September. And we're going to have a ribbon cutting when it's safe to gather, but we're going to try to do something nice for the students and families, maybe a virtual tour with the video for when it does open when we return to school this spring. So we're really excited to see many, many years of planning and organization come to light.
Great, thanks, Meredith. And Kate, you covered everything with Limbach.
Yeah, I'm just going to put in the chat right now. There's the link for any nominations.
Great. And for other SAC members, if you can be checking the chat and answering any questions, because it's hard, I can't read the chat at the same time. Thank you. Okay, so Upper School Spotlight. This is a project that we've had going on for a few years, and it started a few years back. The SAC had surveyed the families across the school, and actually we got a very high turnout of responses on I think we got close to like 300 responses, which was fantastic at that time. And one of the things that really came through in the survey was that families loved C.W. Henry, they loved their teachers, they loved the school community, and that they would be interested in staying K through 8, but they just didn't know, the lower school parents didn't seem to know as much about the upper school and what the upper school had to offer. And we found a trend that parents were sometimes choosing other schools just from a lack of knowledge of what was available to their kids at the upper school. And so the SAC took on a project to make sure that the school community was just aware of all the great things happening there. So today, as a special guest, we have 3 of our lovely 7th grade students, Charles, Zahara, and Rose, and they are going to talk to us about the school. And something interesting about the 3 of them is they've all gone to school together this whole time. They started kindergarten together, and now they're big 7th graders. So we are so grateful to have them today. And Ms. Davis is going to put this flyer in the chat. So if you want to look at it yourself, you're welcome to click that link, but I'm just going to pass it over to them.
Hi, I'm Charles, and every day we have 90 minutes of math, 90 minutes of English arts, then we have 45 minutes of science and social studies, and also at the end of our day, we have 45 minutes of either music, PE, art, or computers, and then we have 45 minutes of lunch.
Hi, my name's Zahara, and I'm going to talk about the 3 ways of discipline that we have at our school. The first way is we have a binder, and it goes around to all of our teachers, and you get checks. And if you get a certain number of checks off, then you get a trip. You can get like a school trip, pick and layer, or fun activity, and you can earn your way back on by getting like the number of checks that you got checked off the first time, get them like erased or whatever. And then our other way, we have youth court, where you go to the student chef of the school, and they pick out your punishment. So whatever you did, you get punished by your peers, basically, kind of. And then we have a ticket system where you get tickets and you can go to like our school store and you can get other things with them.
I'm just going to talk about our teachers and like class sizes. So we have 2 English teachers, Miss Worship and Miss Raup, 2 math teachers, Mr. Jacobs and Miss Smith, 1 social studies teacher, Miss Canarini, and our science teacher, Miss Harley. And because there are only 2 classes per grade, we're able to split it up really easily. So Miss Worship and Mr. Jacob get both 6th grades and 1 7th grade. And Miss Raup and Miss Smith get both 8th grades and 1 in the other 7th grade. And then there are only like 25 kids per class. So it's really like split evenly. And yeah.
And some of the art programs that we have is we have All City Music, which is basically where all of these different schools come together and we meet at Temple for like one big concert. And we also have Band and Orchestra, where we meet in the band room and you either pick an instrument that you didn't have before, or you could stay with the one that you have. We have choir, which at the every Friday in the morning, we wait after everyone go. We wait after everyone goes in, and then we line up outside and we go into the auditorium, and basically we just practice different songs that our music teacher gives us. And musical, what we do is after school, I think Tuesdays and Thursdays, we go to the auditorium again. It's either we go to the auditorium to practice on the stage, or we go in the music room to rehearse like our vocals and stuff.
And you might remember Charles from the musical last year, where he had one of the starring roles as Aladdin. So that's a double exciting thing to have him join us today.
I'm going to talk about the sports. So we have many sports options. Our social studies teacher, Miss Cannery, she does volleyball and softball. And I think we were pretty good the year that we did it. We were pretty good. And then we have dragon boating with our 4th grade teacher, Miss Heberly, where you go out to the Schuylkill River and you basically like boat. I think that's what it is. And so you have to practice and learn how to do that. And then we have our track team. And if you're good enough, you go to the Penn Relays. I've personally been twice, but you have to qualify. So there's no promise that you'll go.
And then a couple of the other extracurriculars. So we also have debate club, which is also run by Miss Cannerini. We have chess club, which is run by the counselor, Mr. Brogan. We have yearbook, which is run by our 8th grade teachers every year, as Miss Davis said earlier. And then we have student council, which is run by Miss Raup and Miss Worship, or at least last year it was. And we plan spirit days and like dress down days together, and we like fundraise for our end of year school dance and our trips to Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and New York, depending on the year. So normally every year, the middle school will go on a trip together to Washington, D.C., New York, or Baltimore, which is really exciting.
All right, and I'm just going to ask each of you to share what's like one of your favorite things about the upper school.
My favorite thing has to be like the extra activities that they give us.
I like the sports that our school provides for the middle schoolers.
I like the community that the upper school has. Like I've known all of the kids in my class since I was 5, and I've talked and I like had seen all of my current teachers when I was like in kindergarten. And it's just really nice because it's like not unfamiliar. Like I've like my kindergarten teacher was my classmate's grandmother, and it's just like this community that's like we've known each other forever, and it's just super nice.
All right, and then Angela Brown is here. She's one of our SAC members and also a parent of wonderful Zahara. So Angela, you want to share with us some things that from the parent perspective?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I actually just love that they're able to talk about all the great things that are happening at Henry. I second what Rose said, that Zahara is able to go to school with students who she's been going to school with since kindergarten, and they've remained friends, remained a tight-knit circle. I love the community feel. I love that they have different activities that they can find themselves in so that they don't feel lost. I love that the teachers know them from when they were in 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, and then they see how they progress when they get to the middle school grades. So I think from the middle school years, this is a wonderful opportunity to just continue the progress that they've already made K through 5. And it's a good environment that they can always find themselves, whether it's academically being challenged or challenged socially.
I know you froze for a sec. Oh, there you are.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the car.
No, you get just at the very last tip of your second sentence. That was great. Thank you so much, Angela.
You're welcome.
And then, yeah, I would just add with Angela, I too think like the community is so wonderful. And I don't know if you all remember your middle school years, but I personally remember it as a pretty torturous experience. And I think that it's pretty nice that, the smaller environment, I feel like it gives them the opportunity to really know each other and feel comfortable being who they are. And, the kids are all really different, which is pretty cool because they get to just accept each other for their differences. So I think it doesn't feel like they're all trying to be the same, which is really pretty neat. So we have enough time if any parents are interested in asking the panel any questions.
I just had a clarifying question on size, and this could be for Ms. Davis or for you. So it sounds like if there's 2 classes per grade, it's about 50-ish students per grade, give or take, maybe 60-ish. So 180-ish for the whole middle school. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's mostly accurate. So in the school district, you can have up to 33 kids in a class. We definitely don't have that in any grade at Henry right now. Typically in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we don't admit many students year after year. So there's a lot of consistency. I think the largest class in our upper school right now is about 25 or 26, and our smallest class is either 21 or 22. And that's pretty normal for what we experience year after year. Two other things that we highlighted in the morning that I just wanted to emphasize. Thank you to our panel. Thinking about social emotional learning opportunities. Our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students do also participate in the same morning meeting structure that we see K-5. So there is an emphasis on that community building and making sure that we are taking the time to get to know each other and enjoy each other's company before we're just jumping straight into academics. So that is also true with our older students, and something that will remain in place whenever we do come back to school in an in-person setting as well. And I'm also really proud that we're one of the only schools in the school district of Philadelphia that has second step from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade, which is our social emotional learning curriculum that many students, they have a lesson on Monday, it's reinforced throughout the week. And that also happens with our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. I don't want to take away from them because they do the best job talking about all of our programming, but I do just want to emphasize what they were sharing around our different arts programming and our sports. Charles, you're right. Some of our sports teams are really good. We make championships, we win awards. We're right up there with a lot of the other city schools, and middle school sports are surprisingly competitive. So we are one of the only elementary K-8 schools in the entire city to have dragon boating. We compete with some high schools even. So that's an opportunity that usually begins in 4th grade, but if your child starts in the lower grades, they can continue to do that while they're in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade as well.
Yeah, and I'll add the debate team is also very good. They won a citywide competition last year, and they won a bunch of their debate competitions this year. So those are all really cool opportunities that they get a chance to participate in. That's pretty cool. And the chess club, I know you can start when you're like in 4th or 5th grade, but too, if your kid doesn't do chess club, it's really cool when they get to go down to the district office and play chess against all these other kids from across the district. It's really neat.
Yeah, and just finally about track, we do year after year usually have a couple students who qualify for the Penn relays. We definitely take a trip as a team and watch the Penn relays each year, whether or not we have students competing. But in the past, we have our track team has been very successful, and that's a co-ed track team. So if anybody has any questions for our panel about any of those offerings, they said it best, but I do think at Henry, like Betta says, you don't always love your middle school years, but we really are proud of the small supportive community that we've built and are able to maintain at CW Henry School. And I think the kids talk about it the best. So thank you to our panel. You guys are awesome.
All right, let's give our panel a round of applause. They did so good. Thank you guys. I'm very impressed. Okay, so we are going to go on just to let me make sure my Screen is ready. So another one of our projects is the family engagement. And so some things that the family engagement working group has done we've surveyed the family, and we had a social media training for families. We are really looking for suggestions for other trainings that families would like, and we could use our SAC and our whole school community as resources for these trainings. So if you have ideas for things you're interested in, please put them in the chat, because we're really interested to hear what you would like more training on. But today we're going to give you some quick tips to Google Classroom and Parent Portal. And just to frame it for you, Google Classroom, we know this is the one that our kids use to like log in and see all their assignments. I'm going to show you how you see their assignments, what's turned in, what's missing. And then the Parent Portal, Gina's here, and she's going to help us look at how you identify or you find your kids' attendance, grades, and report cards. So I think I just have to stop share for a minute to get to a sample Google Classroom of my own kid. Okay. So for Google Classroom, this probably looks familiar to what you've seen before. Usually for the lower elementary kids, they'll have a lot less tiles. This is a upper school, what an upper school kids Google Classroom would look like. And then the big things, again, this is not, I am by no means an expert in Google Classroom, but this is sort of my tips to making sure that I know what's going on with my kids. So know that every tile, again, is like a different class and has their assignments listed under that. I do know that the lower elementary teachers, again, use one tile for all the academics, which is really helpful for the younger kids. But if I was just to click inside, like Rose's ELA class, the first thing it brings you to is the stream. And this means like this is anything that their teacher has updated, given them any information or updates the class should know about. So that's that first thing you come to. The second thing up here, classwork, is where you can find all the assignments that they've been assigned. And depending on how the teacher organizes it, sometimes they organize it by day and all the assignments are listed under that day. Sometimes they've organized it differently. But one good trick that I always like to point out to people is just the difference between a grade circle versus a still bright circle. So the bright circle means it's an assignment that wasn't turned in, and the grade assignments mean it's something that was turned in. So the good news for you is that the bad news is for Rose, she didn't turn in this assignment. So we know that that's missing. The good news for the parents are that we can see, you can have a quick way of seeing at the end of a day or the end of the week if your kid turned in the assignments they were supposed to. So it's really helpful. A second place that I like to go is up here. Someone this morning told me, oh, they said this is called the hamburger. So it's a good way to remember this. Go to the hamburger. And under the hamburger, first of all, you can switch between all the different tiles, which is nice through this, through the hamburger. But you can also go to the to-do at the top. And this is really helpful because this is sort of like things that have been recently assigned. And then even better is a list of anything that is overdue. So it all in one place, you can see if there's missing assignments here, which is fantastic. So like on Friday, I can just go check my kids' Google Classrooms and see what things need to still be turned in before the end of the week, before we start our weekend. So that's really helpful. And again, bright means it's not turned in, grade means it has been turned in. And then you can see all their done assignments over here on the done column. So I really think this to-do tab is one of the most helpful things you can use to help support your students. One other thing, just for whatever this is worth, is that you can unsubmit assignments. So another thing I learned from my very smart fourth graders was that they knew on Fridays I was going to check their missing work. So they would submit their assignments that weren't fully complete. Aren't they so smart? So if you find out your kid is doing that, you can unsubmit an assignment and the kid can finish it and they can resubmit it. It was pointed out to me, it will change the date the assignment was turned in. So it'll mark it for that new submission date. So they might get marked late if it was supposed to be due a certain day. But I think that's helpful for anyone that is having kids submit things and you wanted to take a look at it before you know, or if they're getting into a bad habit like my kids were. So hopefully some of those tips are helpful. And I am going to stop sharing. And then we have Gina Leclerc, who I'm so grateful for. She's here and a member of the SAC, and she is going to walk us through the parent portal.
Hold on, Gina, let me give you screen sharing, right?
All right. And I don't know why my name always changes, but whatever. It's probably my kids messing around with it. All right. So I'm gonna do this is the parent portal, and you do need to have a email login through the school district to fill it.
Gina, I'm not sure if you're talking. We can't hear you.
Within the past couple of weeks.
Oh, there you go. Oh, wait, Gina, can you go back? I'm so sorry because we couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I said underneath this message center, well, you can get messages related to the school through the message center. And then this is what, kind of like an overview of everything. This is my youngest, Ava. And then I have 2 kids, so you can toggle between the different kids that you have in terms of their classwork and their assignments, and any, it also let you know any documents that need attention in terms of like permission slips, things like that. Grades, you can see the grades that are in progress because it's not the end of the marking period as of yet. Gradebook updates focuses on recent updates within the past week or so. Attendance, and it shows how many days she's been absent, how many days that she's been tardy. The schedule will show, hold on, just her basic classroom schedule, not necessarily in the order, but the basic schedule. And documents are just regular documents related to that you usually assign throughout at the beginning of each school year. The new thing that was added this year, which is under more, is called Backpack. And what it does is that it gives you like an official transcript or report card right here for both kids. And then it also adds this check and reflect form, which focuses on attendance, grades, and behavior. So they ask 3 questions that you can ask your kid about the areas that they want to improve.
Oh, I think your sound went out one more time. Oh no. Let's see, Gina.
It's not for the younger kids, but you can ask, Ms. Davis did say in the earlier meeting that you can ask her. And then you can also receive a check and, what is it called? Check and reflect.
Reflect.
Yeah, check and reflect for your younger child in grades K through 5, I assume. Is that clear? I kind of ran through that fast.
That's totally clear. Can you leave your screen there? I just want to explain one thing. So
Sure.
as Gina said, the check and reflect PDFs are brand new. they just kind of came out of nowhere, but they're good documents. And if you are a K-5 parent and you're interested in seeing your child, I have no problem emailing it to you. They're just not available in the backpack for some reason. But one thing that's important to point out about the digital backpack, because it's new, is that there are certain days, and I'm sorry because I have a fire alarm beeping in the background, which is like the cardinal rule to break of virtual meetings. But there, you can see there that it says new next to one of Maya's documents. And that's because if there have been any changes, it will refresh. It's not going to be automatically visible on your end on the parent backpack, but there are, I think it's weekly or every 2 weeks, the district is updating report cards or check and reflect documents. So if any changes have been made on the back end, you will see it at that time. But thanks for sharing, Gina. This is so helpful to see.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, does anyone have any, not that either one of us are experts in again, the Google Classroom or the parent portal, but does anyone have any questions? Okay, I'm gonna just close out with, how can you get involved in the SAC? So there's a couple ways. We really encourage lots of diverse voices at the SAC. So please, if you're just curious or interested, you are always welcome to attend a SAC meeting. If you're interested in making a more formal commitment, it's again an hour a month to join and become a member. And there is some work outside because we do expect every member of the SAC to be part of one of the projects. So everyone does a little bit of work outside the meetings and then brings that back to the group. But if you're interested in becoming a member, there is a, I have the link here, but there's a form on the district website. It's pretty easy to fill out. If you just Googled SAC PhilISD, you could find become a member and then submit that. Miss Davis gets an email for that with your application. And then if you're interested in providing the SAC with input about how we can, champion the school towards their goals, a suggestion, we would love that feedback. You can go on the CW Henry website and under families, the families tab, there's a SAC tab. And on that page, you can find a place to submit a Google form with your input. So we really appreciate any suggestions from the community. So that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much for participating in our SAC community meeting.
Thank you, Betta. Thank you to our students. Thank you to all SAC members. That kind of brings us to a close of our, hold on 1 second, let me just share my screen. That brings us to an official close for this meeting, but if you do have, my screen is frozen. If you do have any questions, I'm going to be sticking around for Q&A. So feel free to come off mute if you have anything that you'd like to bring up, questions about the SAC or anything generally going on at CW Henry School. I'm going to stop recording the meeting at this time. So thank you to everyone who participated.